chose Venice, the city of love, as our honeymoon destination. We met back in college and were friends for a long time. After all those years, we finally realized we were meant to be together and got married recently. It feels nice to be with someone who knows me so well. Its rich history, vibrant culture, and enticing cuisine enchanted us. We rented a private villa in a quiet part of the city, offering a perfect blend of luxury and privacy. The initial days were magical, exploring narrow streets, appreciating art, savoring local cuisine, and enjoying serene gondola rides. The city seemed to hum with life, the piazzas echoing with laughter and music, and the food was nothing short of a love affair. However, one evening our joy turned to apprehension. Emma noticed some old newspaper clippings on the wall at a local eatery. The articles detailed the mysterious disappearances of several honeymooning couples, with no signs of struggle or ransom notes. To our horror, all these couples had stayed in the same villa as ours. The city and our charming villa suddenly seemed sinister, the romantic ambiance replaced by a chilling realization that we were staying where multiple couples had vanished. We were trying to keep calm after discovering some alarming things, telling ourselves it was probably nothing. But it was hard to shake off the uneasy feeling, and our happy days seemed to be overshadowed by a lingering fear. The city seemed full of unseen threats, and we felt like someone or something was constantly watching us. Then, it got even worse. Our passports and phones were nowhere to be found. Our lovely little villa felt like a prison, and the charming city was like a confusing maze meant to trap us. We felt more watched than ever, always seeing a tall, thin figure wearing a mask, staying away but always there. We tried to get help from the police and locals, but the language barrier and their lack of interest left us feeling lost and alone in a city that once seemed so welcoming. One evening, after another visit to the police station, the feeling of being followed became even more intense. We were walking on a quiet, deserted street when we noticed a car trailing behind us. The car stopped a few feet ahead, and two masked men armed with guns emerged. We were paralyzed with fear, but just then we saw a police van patrolling in the distance. The masked men quickly got back in their car and drove off fast. Our hearts were racing, but we were relieved they didn't approach us. The incident added another layer of fear to our already stressful situation. The city that once felt magical now seemed full of dangers lurking around every corner. In our desperation, we formulated a risky plan involving an abandoned boathouse we had spotted earlier, hoping to lead our stalker there and make our escape. The next day, we stepped out, pretending to be casual tourists while leading our silent pursuer towards the boathouse. Every echo of footsteps heightened our anxiety, and occasional glimpses of the masked figure heightened our fear. Upon reaching the boathouse, we managed to distract the figure and made our escape through Venice's complicated network of streets, finally reaching a crowded market. We blended in with the crowd and contacted our embassy through a public phone, relief washing over us as we were assured help was coming. Though the masked figure didn't appear again, the fear lingered until we reached the safety of the embassy grounds. The flight back was a mix of relief and residual dread from our harrowing experience in Venice. Once back home, with the support of our embassy, we recounted our chilling experience to the local police. The disbelief was palpable in their eyes as we narrated the sinister occurrences, the masked figure, our disturbing discoveries, and our escape. With the backing of the embassy, they had to take our account seriously. Though chilling, the experience didn't break our spirits or love. However, it left us with a haunting realization about the unseen and unknown aspects lurking beneath seemingly serene and picturesque facades. Venice, the city of countless lovers, etched a mark on our lives, leaving us with a tale of love entwined with terror and mystery, a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that even places shrouded in love and beauty can hide chilling secrets. My name is Jake, and I explore and write about America's diverse landscapes and cultures. As my cab maneuvered through the lively streets of New Orleans, the city's energy was palpable. The rhythmic jazz music poured from the clubs, merging with the spicy scent of Creole cuisine and the effervescent chatter of locals and tourists alike. My destination was Hotel Monteleone, a regal structure in the city's heart. As I stepped into the hotel, I was welcomed by a grand spectacle. High arches led to elegant corridors, adorned with artwork that whispered tales of bygone eras. But what truly set Hotel Monteleone apart was the carousel bar and lounge. The bar, set on a slowly rotating platform, was a carousel for adults, offering an array of tempting drinks instead of painted ponies. As I watched patrons revolve slowly, I felt the peculiar charm of this place seeping into me. My suite was nothing short of luxurious. Rich mahogany furniture was set against warm, creamy walls. Exploring the historic French Quarter during the day, I experienced the eclectic mix of culture, architecture, and lively marketplaces. Nighttime brought a different vibe. The streets were illuminated with music and light. However, sleep was unattainable that night. My senses were still entangled in the city's vibrancy. A late-night call from a so-called hotel staff member claimed a security breach and asked me to come to the lobby. Something was off about the composed urgency in his voice, and my instincts kicked in. With a blend of curiosity and caution, I moved to delve deeper into the situation, a shiver of anticipation running through me as I opened the door to the corridor. The hotel, once bubbling with laughter and lively conversations, was now enveloped in a peculiar silence, starkly contrasting with the lively ambiance I had experienced earlier. It felt deserted, devoid of the warm glow and comforting hum of activity. The air was dense with tension, and a palpable sense of unease permeated every inch of space as I walked down the muted, dimly lit corridors, their usual welcoming aura replaced by an unsettling stillness. The walls seemed to close in, and the silence was so profound that I could hear my heartbeat, rapid and irregular, the only sign of life in the silent realm. Then, suddenly, the already dim lights began to flicker, sporadic bursts of illumination giving way to encompassing darkness, making the atmosphere even more oppressive. It was a stark realization. My situation wasn't just peculiar, it was perilous. Struggling to navigate through the enveloping blackness, I used the light from my phone to pierce through the obscurity, the small beam seeming feeble against the overwhelming darkness. The air grew colder, and a realization dawned on me. The silence was broken by another set of footsteps, distant yet unmistakable. My heart raced as I was trapped in a silent pursuit through the labyrinthine hotel. I heard someone yelling at me to stop. And when I ignored him and kept running, I heard 2 gunshots. One shot made me deaf for a few minutes when the bullet passed near my ear. In a burst of adrenaline, I locked myself inside the security office, my breaths short and rapid, and dialed 911. Desperation laced my voice as I conveyed my precarious predicament, the pounding on the door growing more relentless, each thud a stark reminder of the danger lurking just beyond the barrier. Every second inside the cramped security office felt stretched, the constant pounding a loud reminder of the menace outside, reverberating through the hotel walls that once felt warm and secure. It seemed like an eternity, every thud echoing the fragility of my sanctuary. The air dense with unsaid threats. The distant wailing of police sirens pierced the silence, a sound never more welcome. It was a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the menacing darkness. A wave of relief, warm and comforting, flooded me as the police secured the intruder. A man infamous for exploiting the trust and vulnerability of tourists, trapping them in their fear and robbing them blind. This incident served as a grim reminder that true monsters, exploiting normalcy and trust, are real and walk among us, more fearsome than any ghost story. Shaken, I left the hotel, the haunting experiences of the night overshadowing its grandeur and charm. However, stepping back into the colorful and lively streets of New Orleans, I felt a sense of comfort and normalcy, allowing me to move forward, leave the fear behind, and embrace the adventures that awaited me with undaunted spirit. In the summer of 2017, I, Olivia, an adventure-seeking teen, landed in Pine Forest Summer Camp. The camp was picturesque, surrounded by woods and a shimmering lake, but its routine activities felt monotonous. My only ally in this repetitiveness was my best friend, Liza. We had always been 2 peas in a pod, inseparable and always up for mischief. As the camp slept one night, Liza and I decided to embark on a nocturnal adventure. Equipped with our flashlights, we ventured into the forest. The silence of the woods was occasionally interrupted by the rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Deep into our nocturnal journey, we saw an obscured structure camouflaged by the trees and overgrown foliage, a secret refuge hidden within the forest's embrace. Curiosity overshadowing our fears, we made our way through the thick vegetation and discovered an ancient cabin, presenting a scene of decay and abandonment, windows shattered, and the entrance barely clinging to a solitary hinge. With bated breath and hearts racing, we hesitantly stepped inside. Signs of recent occupancy confronted us. A sleeping bag showing signs of use was discarded on the floor, surrounded by remnants of meals, empty cans, and discarded wrappers. A bundle of clothes was shoved in a corner. But what froze our blood were the stacks of photographs placed meticulously on a worn-out wooden table. Pictures capturing unsuspecting campers, snapshots of Liza and me among them. We were being observed, our every move chronicled by hidden eyes. A silent communication of terror passed between Liza and me. The understanding, the recognition of the danger we were in, dawned upon us. Our exploration had turned into a horrifying revelation. Our concerns were no longer about the excitement of the unknown, but about our well-being and the ominous presence lurking in our midst. While scanning the cabin, a series of photos depicted an unsettling scenario. Someone masked had entered the cabin, wielding a knife, while we were preoccupied with the discovered images. Panic laced through our veins as he directed us, his voice cold and commanding, to sit in a secluded corner. There we sat, hearts pounding, forced into silence by the sinister figure looming over us. In the tense silence, an opportunity presented itself to Liza, and without a second thought, she seized it. She swung a nearby lamp at the intruder with swift and sudden force. It connected with a dull thud, and he collapsed, unconscious on the cold, hard floor. Our legs propelled us with newfound strength as we fled from the oppressive atmosphere of the cabin, racing towards the safety of our camp, leaving behind the unconscious figure and the haunted air of the cabin. Our dash back to camp was a blur of terror, every noise magnified and every flicker of light transforming into a potential menace. Every step was a battle against our imaginations, turning every sound into a pursuit, every shadow into a hidden assailant. Our breaths were shallow and erratic, and our minds raced, fueled by the adrenaline and the haunting images of the masked intruder. The once welcoming embrace of the forest was now a labyrinth of hidden dangers, and we were desperate to escape its hold. Our eventual arrival back at the camp was a chaotic mix of relief and terror, our words tumbling out in a heated cascade as we attempted to convey the night's horrific events. The shadows were no longer simple play of light and darkness, but harbored unseen threats, and every rustle of leaves became a whisper of lurking danger. Our adventure had turned into a desperate escape, a flight from unseen horrors, and the sanctuary of the camp became our only refuge from the night's concealed menaces. We informed the camp authorities about our discovery, showing them the pictures as evidence. The camp turned into a crime scene. The local police delved into the woods, now marked off limits. By morning, the police identified the stalker as Chris, a former camp counselor. He was apprehended from a nearby makeshift shelter. Chris, a man we had previously known and trusted, had turned into a lurking shadow, documenting our every move. Rumors spread about his previous misconduct, fueling speculations among the campers. A hushed silence enveloped the camp as Chris was escorted away in handcuffs. This wasn't a horror movie, it was our reality. In the aftermath, camp security was tightened. No more late-night wanderings, no more deviations during activities. Counselors tried to reclaim the camp's lost innocence with reassuring talks and team-building exercises. But their vigilant eyes and the constant reminders of the incident were evident.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button.